Hi, who's here? I've got one person here so far. I'm going to give just chat with you, one person, for a minute. Please go to the comment section. I believe it's a button on the right, I want to say, and you can ask me questions. So just kind of click around down there. It's probably like three dots on the side, and you click on that. Some people couldn't find it before. I don't think a lot of people know how to use the comment section. But I love comments because that way I can interact with you and love, love, love to interact with all of you. So I'm going to wait a minute until more people come. If more people come, one never knows. It's Saturday. It's coronation day for King Charles. So it's a big day in England. I know I have quite a few British followers. So we're just going to give it a minute, see if anybody shows up. I think I will probably do this anyway because it does go on a live stream, and in the past I haven't, because just felt like why? But then quite a few of you were like, "Wait a minute, I went to watch the replay on YouTube." So I just want to be sure that okay, there's another person. Please go on the comment section. I want to be able to say hello to you. Let's see. And also to answer your questions. So I'm going to start in just a minute. I'm just giving a minute for other people to come. Let's do. Why isn't there we go. Just giving it a couple minutes here. Oh, there's one. Marie. Hi, Marie. Marie Stopa. Did I get that right? Looks like Stopa. Stopa. Stopa, maybe. Thank you, Marie, for joining me. I appreciate it. Please write your questions in the comment section. I might just get started. Oh, there's another person. So please just go on to the comments and introduce yourself and ask questions. I mean, I do have a whole setup here of what I'm going to share with you, but I want to be sure I stay on track as far as answering people's questions. So please feel free to, yes. Oh, good. I got it right, Marie. That's wonderful. So, okay, great. I'm going to get here's my layout here for what I want to talk about. But I'm going to curtail this according to whoever shows up and the questions you guys ask, because there's a lot of information that I could go through. So, it's like I have to sort of narrow it into 1 hour, or 45 minutes, depending on how far we get here. So, all right, so let's just start. It's 11:03. People are never prompt. I'm like overly prompt. I'm like 10 minutes early to everything. Hi, Melinda. Thank you so much, Melinda, for making it. I know you weren't sure if you could make it, so I appreciate you being here. Oh, good. Marie, you have deep set eyes. Awesome. Great. It's such a big question so many women have about deep set eyes. So we are totally going to hit on that. All right, so let's just start because two of you are here, and I'm sure people sort of come and go with these and pop in, and so may as well just go ahead and start. All right, so I'm Suzanne the Beauty Shaman, and you're my shamanettes. Woo! So hello, shamanettes. Great to have you here. Okay, so for starters, be sure you're signed up to my newsletter. So that's on thebeautyshaman.com. If you're not already a member, I think Melinda, you are, but I'm going to send out links. So I can't really do links on the live stream because it's just me. As I grow, I will get somebody else on the live stream with me to go ahead and send all of you the links, but I can't do it being solo. So if you're on my newsletter, I send that out. I basically put all the links down. It's not a perfect system, but it is the system I have to kind of go with at this point. So, so just be sure you're a member of that. Be sure you subscribe to YouTube. I'm sure you guys are. And also for those of you who watch the replay, hello, thank you for watching my replay. I did get a lot of replay watchers last time. So, okay, so we are going to do, actually, I want to share with all of you, hooded, deep set, and glasses, Melinda. Great. That's fine. Like, we're going to cover it, man. I want to show you my new branding. I just got new branding done. I'm super excited about it. And I'm going to show you my new intro. So I'm going to share. I love that. Let me know your thoughts on it. I would love to hear from you. Um, oh, you're new, Marie. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining. That's great. I try to do these kind of events about once a month. Um, and I'm going to do other things. I'm always open to suggestions. You know, I'm a sole proprietor. I'm all about making the audience happy and giving you what you need. So you can just interact with me, you know. So, okay, great. Well, let's get going here. So we are gonna, let me get I'm gonna be sure I'm gonna cover everything. I have to stick to some sort of a schedule. Okay, so the structure that we're gonna do today is we're basically gonna go through, we're gonna go through dry skin around the eyes, because that's a huge question when you're gonna put makeup, foundation, concealer, that sort of thing on hooded eyes or deep set eyes. So we're going to cover that very briefly because it is a really important aspect to it. We're going to go through some basic tools that you need to use. So I've got brushes. I'm going to just go through exactly what brushes you need. You don't need, so here's this, I'm a very, I have a very minimalistic approach to just about everything in life. I'm very practical as a human being. So I'm just going to give you like 2 or maybe 3 brushes that you pretty much need to have in whatever. You don't have to spend millions of dollars. I'm so anti any of that BS. Like, I'm very pro do what works for you. Each of us are individuals. So just so you know, I'm not all about that. I do love great skincare. I'm huge into skincare and into health and all of that. So we're not going to touch on that today. I will do other live streams about health and skincare and that sort of thing. Today, it's not really focused on that, but all right. So then we're going to go through how to apply eyeliner, because both of these looks, hooded eyes and deep set eyes, both of them need the knowledge, the how-to of applying liner really close to the eye line. It is difficult to do. It does take some practice. I know it's frustrating. I hear all of you. I do a ton of makeovers now. So I live in Ecuador. If you don't know, I moved to Ecuador about 8 or 9 months ago. I was a professional makeup artist for 25 years. I ran the makeup department at Gaia TV. I worked for CNN and Fox. I've made up lots of famous people. I'm an esthetician as well. So very strong background in all of this. And the biggest question, I wanted to hit on this. I'm doing a whole series of makeovers. So I brought in a bunch of retired women that live here in Ecuador, which is a huge population. There's probably, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 here in Cuenca where I live. Of retired people. So I just put out like this notice on the Gringo Post and got all kinds of women in. So go to my YouTube channel and go to the playlist section, and I have makeovers. And the majority of those are going to be people here in Ecuador. And I have all age ranges. I never scanned anybody. I basically put out this notice. Whoever responded, I brought in, which is about 20 women. So fun. I had no idea who they were. I just was like, come on into my studio. I have a whole studio in my house, and had such a great time. I met some incredible women. I posted a video. Do check this out. I'm going to get onto the subject here, but check out the one with Martha. So really, she was amazing, and walked in and was crying because her husband is basically dying and she's his caretaker, and she's in her mid 70s. And we had such an amazing experience with her, because she was such a spiritual woman, but also just, very raw, very real, very honest. And then by the end of the video, she's like, she looks beautiful. She feels so much better, because that's what makeup does. It's very transformational. Okay, so we're going to go into that. We're going to go through how to do eyeliner, how to blend, which is super key for this, how to layer, because so much of makeup is layering, and I don't want to be too complicated. Yes, Marie, it is really, really cool. So I don't want this to be complicated. I want this to be straightforward, but there is a little bit of complication. So if I lose you, just stay with me. We'll talk about we'll get more. I try to keep it as practical as possible. Okay, then we're going to do brows. In fact, I might even just start with brows, because that's part of the whole thing. And we are going to there's 2 women I want to focus on. I'm going to answer your question, Melinda, in just a second here. There's 2 women I want to focus on here really quickly that show what we're talking about. One of them is, let's just do this. So mature shamanettes, that's what we're doing. Okay, Judi Dench. So this isn't a great example of deep set eyes. I love Judi Dench. I'm a huge British actress fan. You are too, Melinda. So she's got this really heavy liner on top, and very bright, right? This is very glamorous makeup, so this is a bit different, but not so much in the crease, right? It's all focused around her eyeline. Her brows are nicely shaped. She has a gorgeous face. And her lipstick is more minimal. So this is what we're going to focus on with the deep set eyes. And then the next one is Hooded, Charlotte Rampling, who I love and adore. She's in the recent Dune film. Love her deep set eyes, incredible face. So, her eyes are very, very hooded. So we're going to go through different types of hooded eyes. But anyway, I wanted to share those two with you just for some sort of like a concrete base to start from. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, Melinda's question is, what's the best eyeshadow application in regards to light, medium, dark colors for hooded deep set to bring out your eyes? We are so going to cover that, Melinda. That is the absolute question. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly go through some dry skin issues, and then we're going to head straight into this. But your eyes you really need to be sure they're hydrated. You can't put makeup on dry skin. Unfortunately, I mean, people come into the studio sometimes with the driest skin. I was in Colorado, so it was like crazy dry skin, and you simply cannot put makeup on dry skin. You have to hydrate it. Dry skin is internal more than external. So I've done whole videos on this. Be sure to check that out. But for time's sake, we're just going to say, get a good serum, a vitamin C serum, hyaluronic acid, and those two separate products, and put them around your eye area. I actually don't really use eye cream. I do have one here. This is a Kojendo one. This is not necessarily a non-toxic beauty, but I do like this one. It is really good. If you like eye cream, I'm not an eye cream user. I just have this, was in my kit for other people. But this is a C serum. So this is 80% vitamin C, which I love. And you want tetrahexadecyl ascorbate vitamin C, not L-ascorbic acid, for those geeks out there in the audience. This is another one. This is a vitamin C serum. This is about 20%. But most vitamin C serums, I don't think L-ascorbic acid. It really needs to be the higher quality Cs put around your eye area for hydration. Most moisturizers are not super moisturizing. They're just sort of like sit on the surface of your skin. So it really is an internal battle. But that's for another subject, another day. But I did want to touch on that. You have to have hydrated skin. If your skin is dry and you're using products that are drying or don't contain a lot of hydration and you have dry skin, forget it. None of this is going to work. So that really is the grassroots, the base of all of this is you've got to have great skin. Okay, so basic tools, we need brushes. We're going to go through each one of the brushes that you need. Not right now. I will touch on all of this. And there's different eyeshadows you can use. You can use creams or powders. I'm going to use both types just to show you how to do it. And for eyeliners, what we're going to use is we're going to use pencils. This is a MAC pencil. We're also going to use cream, like gel or liquid you can use. I'm just going to use a gel. This is a MAC gel. I use a lot of MAC because they give a 40% discount to professionals. So there you have it. And we're also going to talk about eye bases. So to keep that on your eye, not everybody needs an eye base. If you have dry skin, you probably don't need one. But I did want to touch those are the type of eyeliners we're going to use. All right, we're going to do brows. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this. So both of these looks are very much in need for the eyeliner to be really, really tight to the eye, like I said. So it's not a situation where it's a situation where you really need to know how to do that type of eyeliner. So let's get started with that. So I have foundation on right now. I just lightly put some on. I don't use a ton of foundation. I'm not a fan of heavy foundations. I like light to medium coverage. This is actually for a matte, but it has a dewiness to it, which I really love. So some mattes are not super drying. In order to do your eyeliner, we're going to put a little bit of concealer on, because without concealer, like really what you're doing is you're popping this part of your face. You're popping the eye part. So if you just do eyeliner and you don't do a little bit of evening out of the skin, it's just not going to look good. So what I do when I'm making someone up is I straight away hydrate their skin, and then I put foundation, and then I put concealer in that order on older skin. I really like a soft, natural, not liney look, right? I don't want to see any lines. I want everything to be blended, which is a total skill set that we're going to talk about here. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of concealer. This is my MAC Professional Concealer. So we're going to put, I think I'm going to do this one here. I want to say this is NW35. I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, I live in Ecuador, so I'm outside constantly. Ooh, this is so weird. It's so backwards. I have to look in my mirror right here. Let's see. We'll do this eye so you can see. So I'm just going to put some concealer right through here so you can see how I do that. I don't do it all the way under my eye. Some of you really go too heavy around your eye area. So I'm just tapping that in. I'm really tired. I have not slept well at all this week because of the full moon. Do you guys like that? Full moon's just, holy cow, so rough on me. All right, so you can see the difference. Like, look at the difference that made. Just applying concealer around my eye area. So, you know, it's huge what this does, how much this opens up your eye. And I take it on the inside. You notice I put it through here. Many of you just kind of go for the gusto and go underneath, but really it needs to go all the way up in here. All right, if you have oily skin on your eyes, I would say do an eye base. This is called Painterly. I'm just going to put it on with my finger. So again, I'm just going to focus on this eye since my mirror is here. So I do this because everything creases on me. I've got a lot of oils in my skin. I take a lot of omega-369 vitamins. Those are great for oil. I pour olive oil on everything. I drink a lot of water. I also have discoloration over my lid. So you can see the difference there that made. See how much that opened up that eye? Isn't that crazy? Makes a huge, I mean, my eyebrows are different, right? You've got one that's a bit schlumpy, but I'm going to do this eye too, because I think we will end up doing one eye for deep set and one eye for hooded. Okay. So that was easy and quick, right? You know, sometimes we think this has to take forever. It really doesn't. I worked in live TV for a long time. So, I mean, I could make up somebody in 5 minutes. It was like, it's crazy what you could do. So I'm going to do a little eyebrow here because the other part of this is, if you notice Judi Dench, Charlotte Rampling's faces, they really had their eyebrows filled in. And this does have to do with balance. So for example, I'm going to teach you how to do the eyeliner, but if you just did a Judi Dench makeup and you didn't have your eyebrows done or some lipstick on, it looks weird. Have you ever been to the grocery store? I don't know why this comes to mind, but there's somebody standing there ringing you up and they've done their brows really strong and nothing else. It's like, you can't just stop there. Like, you have to keep going, right? It's not how it works. It looks weird. So I think part of this is some of you will do this and say, well, it doesn't look good, but that's because you're like an artist. You have a palette and you're structurally, it all has to make sense. So I'm an artist. So of course I'm going to really look at that kind of a thing. So, all right. So I'm going to just lightly fill in my brows here. Let's do, which eye am I doing? I'm doing this eye. So you want it to start here. The little curve starts there. And it ends there. That's how you measure this. I've done whole videos on concealers, so be sure to check those out for more info. And I'm just going to follow the natural line of my hair on my brows and take that down to that point. And I basically focus on the outer edge because I want everything to go up and out. Many of you focus too much. So many people, not just you guys, but you know, the younger counterparts do really like heavily chiseled brows. That's a really hard look to maintain. Now my eyebrows are thinning like everybody, so I go a little tiny bit in here, but not much. So I'm just doing this to really show you the difference of what a filled in eyebrow does. All right, and I'm going to just use a little bit of gel here to make because I've got eyebrow hair. If you don't, you can ignore this part. But that's basically to get that brow to stand up a little bit. It's a bit of a droopy brow. But look at the difference, like huge, right? Really, really makes a difference. Okay, so let's keep going with this eye. We're going to focus on this eye right now. So you see how much I cleaned up my eyes, I cleaned up my brows, and now my eyes are popping out. Okay, so let's do an eyeliner. Now I'm not going to put eyeshadow on. I'm just going to start with the eyeliner. And we're going to build, okay? I'm going to show you how to build. A lot of times people do an eyeshadow underneath. I do find that tends to kind of mess with the eyeliner a little bit. So that's just like a pro thing right there. So I'm going to do, I'll do one, you can do a pencil or a liquid. So I'll do both so you can kind of get an idea. But the idea with liner is the very mid part of your eyeball. If you try to do eyeliner from tip to tip, the very mid part of your eyeball, it'll just look too thick, right? It just looks weird, right? It's really hard to get that line to not be all jittery all over the place and too heavy. So I like to build. I'm a really big believer in just do a little bit, see what it looks like. You know, it's makeup, you can take it off. It's easy, right? So I'm going to start with this. So this is called Teddy by MAC. And I'm going to go, be sure you guys can see here. Move everything up a little bit. I'm in my studio, so whoops, don't fall off. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go right in here. So you see I'm just, whoops, I poked myself in the eyeball. I'm going to go right in there. So I'm bringing out because I want to pull it out, right? And then I'm going to go down here. So I don't go from here and try to draw a line across. So many of you do that. It's really, really hard to do. Oops, alarm going off somewhere. And then I'm going to pull my eye. And what I like to do is I like to balance this hand. So if you try to do this freehand, it's an absolute disaster. I'm sure many of you can vouch for that. It's a total disaster. So I'm going to pull my eye. I'm going to balance my hand on my eye. And I'm going to start here. So I don't start here necessarily. I'm just highlighting that little section right there. But I start over here. And I just start going right between the lashes. So you think in terms of between your lashes, not on top. Some of you, you know, there's this idea, doesn't really work. You know, you can get really tight. Say when I make up myself, I can get really tight like this. But today we're doing it this way so you can see. And I'm just going to pull it between. So I just slowly work with it. It doesn't matter if it's crooked, right? Even me, right? I'm doing it crooked. Doesn't matter. Because we're going to put the main focus on this outer edge to give our eyes a lift. Now, as far as color, because Belinda asked about color. Ooh, what was that? My camera just did something weird. I don't know what that was. That's really weird. Hopefully you guys can still see me. That was a little blurb in the something. Okay, so we're going to go right here. And Judi Dench used, the woman who did her, or man, whoever did her makeup used black. If you can use black, use black. I think it's too much for 99% of us, unless you are a professional makeup artist and you know how to work with black. It can be way too strong. So I would say if you're like, I'm a medium tone skin, so I would say browns are really good. And I would go according to your eye color. For example, if you have brown eyes, the sky's the limit. You can use green, you can use grape, charcoal is great to stay away from black. Warm browns kind of go flat on brown eyes. And it depends, the depth of that color depends on your skin color. The darker your skin, the more saturated and dense those colors really need to be. So for very dark skin, really it's black, really deep purples, vibrant blues like cobalt blues, or I love using strong blues on darker skin. It's stunning. The lighter your skin, the less sort of saturated, and the softer toned you want to go. I think for very light skin, you want to go with blue grays or, you know, kind of green. Green doesn't really work on blue eyes. On blue eyes, you want blue gray. You want rich, warm browns. Maybe a little plum is nice too. I have green eyes, so I do a lot of warm browns, plums. Charcoal always works. So I hope that's helpful for all of you. It really just depends on your skin. Oh, great, Melinda. Thank you for telling me you can see that. Okay, so you can see I did a really crap job on my liner. But what's important here is that it's really close to my eye line. Then I'm going to use a blender brush. So this is the key component here of everything is blending. So I don't know if you can see this brush. So it's just kind of poofy. Has like an edge to it. You can also use something like this. So this is can't see with that hand. So it's got a slant. This also works really well. You want to just blend it. You can also do pencil brushes. I don't know if I have a pencil brush here. Just looks like a pencil on the end. Okay, I don't know. It's MIA. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. This one also works. You know, if you have something like this, you don't have to buy something particular or special. It just needs to be sort of a narrow blender. Okay, so I'm going to pull my eye again. Sorry, those of you who don't like people pulling their eyes, just Hold your breath here. And then I'm going to pull this towards my ear. So small movements, pulling it towards my ear. And I'm just going to work with that line, the top line of it, because I don't want it to look liney. So again, this is for both hooded and small and deep set. The deeper set your eye, the tighter this needs to be to your eye line. Hooded, you can actually have it be a thicker line. Really depends on the size of your lid, but we're just pulling that and keeping that lid area pretty open so that this makes sense. Okay. So you see, I've just got kind of a nice smoky line. And if I want to make it a little bit denser or thicker, I can use, well, let me grab. If you can see my setup here, it's kind of humorous. So I'm going to use a little bit of eyeshadow on top. So this is some nice browns. I'm basically going to use this color. I'm going to use my slanted brush. So you're saying, oh no, she's doing liner and something else. And it's true because I wanted the density, but I want to get it even closer to my eye line. So I'm going to take that eyeshadow, go right over the top, right next to the eye line. So you've already got the density of the liner, and that's also going to stay on your face really well. Eyeshadows don't stay on as well because they're not as dense of a product. But see how much more that brought out that line. Like that's really cool. Really did it. And I didn't put any underneath. That's just that top line. So again, this is for both hooded and deep set eyes. We're really going tight to that line. The other thing you can do is to take a waterproof pencil if you have it. I've got one here. Any color that you want. Purple, green, blue, have fun with color. So many of us are scared of color. So I'm actually going to use a brown, speaking of color. It's not really a color. But I'm going to go right underneath my lashes on that shelf. It's called your waterline. And I'm just putting that right underneath. So I'm really putting the focus on that top line. Look at the difference there. Whoops, sorry, this one. So it really made that part of my eye, thank you, Marie. It really made that upper part of my eye really jump out. And plus with your eyebrow filled in, like you can really see how much this eye is really standing out. And for deep set eyes, this is super duper key. Oops, this one. Okay, so we're going to do, we're going to start with the deep set here because this is kind of where we're headed. And then we'll do a hooded, probably do a hooded one. I might just do it on top rather than do two eyes for time's sake. Okay, so now I'm going to take so this is a deep set eye. I'm going to take a very soft color and do, let's see. Let's do this one. I have so much makeup and it's never enough, you know, I'm like a little addict over here. Okay, so I'm going to use this color right here. So I'm just sticking with neutrals just because I know many of you, we have all different skin colors that watch these. So all right, so now I'm going to use a crease brush. So this is the other really important brush you need is a crease brush. This is one of my favorites. It's a 217 by MAC. So this is actually a goat hair or it's synthetic. I'm not really sure because they switched to all synthetic a couple of years ago, I think. So I think this is goat though. I mean, they don't hurt the animal to get the hair. So anyway, all right, I'm going to put a little bit of color on this. Again, sticking with a neutral. And I'm going to go, so again, deep set eyes. So you don't want to do too much on your lid because your lid, you need to have some difference. So light brings out, dark recedes. It's kind of the rule. Yeah, tight line. What did I call it, Marie? Did I not call it a tight line? Probably called it something wrong. So think of that in terms of you with a small deep set eye or just a deep set eye, you want to bring out this part of your lid as much as humanly possible. So I'm going to do this is like a light neutral tone. And with deep set eyes, you don't want to do very much in the outer crease. This is the big difference between hooded and deep set, depending on how hooded your eyes are. Hooded lids, you do want to do color in that outer lid. Deep set eyes, you don't, because it'll make them look deeper into your head. So we want to bring out the deep set eye. And the way Judi Dench did it in the photo I showed you was she had a really light color right here and a deeper color on this outer edge, but not that much deeper. So I'm just putting it in that outer edge, and you can see I just kind of work with the color. Many of you just kind of go back and forth. So just think of it in terms of circular, like I'm just going to do some circles here just to bring that out a little bit because I'm trying to lift it, right? Now I've got a lot of real estate right here. I know that. I know not everybody has real estate right there. Depends on your face. But you can see that. Like that really helped give that a lift. Okay, so I've still got my lid. Let's do the lid for the deep set eye. Where's my other? I think I've actually moved some of my brushes. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so I'm just going to use this brush. So this is like a lid brush. I can also use this as a concealer brush. And I'm going to put a little bit of a lid color here. And I want you to be able to see the difference. So there we go. Since I have a pink shirt on, we're going to do a little bit of pink. So I'm going to do this color here on my lid. So many of you do the light color first, and there's like different ways to go about this. I like to do the light color last because then it doesn't mess up with my liner. And I'm going to put this on the inner part of the eye. This is one of the tricks they do on Judi Dench. If you ever really look at her makeup, she does these, they do like an aqua color with glitter, which if you don't have crepey lids, you can pull that sucker off. Okay, so I made this pretty noticeable so that you could see it. But see the difference there? So I'm making this more extreme so you can really see what I'm doing. But that's going to pull that eye out, and then you can play with the crease color a little bit or the crease shape because you're adding dimension where there isn't with deep set eyes. Because deep set eyes, it's just in your head. So you're trying to make it pop, right? So that's why that light color and slightly deeper in that outer edge. So yeah, you can see that. That really makes a difference. And it pulls everything up and out, right? It's kind of like your boobs, like up and out, right? We don't want everything to be like, we want it to be like, so that's what we did here. Now, on deep set eyes, you can do a color underneath your eye if it works on your face. I don't do it too often with women, depends on how much their face can handle. Deep set eyes, a lot of times the eye just cannot handle too much underneath because it'll just make it go deeper. So it really, really depends on your eye. If you look at Judi Dench's makeup, let's just go back to this shot here with Judi Dench. There's Charlotte. Okay, if you can see, very little underneath, right? It looks like maybe just a little eyeshadow is all that is. I realize this is not a super tight shot from our angle, but you can see how that works. They also did a little lighter color up in here. That also helps with deep set eyes, but look how much they cleaned up around her eye area. That's really cool. Okay. All right, so you see how that works. I'm not going to add any because I do have some dark circles from my lack of sleep this week. So I'm just going to keep that kind of open. That really is up to you. I would say don't use, for the most part, many women take their waterproof and go into the waterline underneath, which is basically that shelf right there. I find that to be a little heavy on older women. Really depends on your face, but for the most part, I don't. I just feel like it's way too much. So I like to keep it on the top part and, just let that be the focal point. Okay, so let's go into hooded lids. This is Melinda's favorite little subject here. Okay. I'm just reading your question yet again. Okay, so let's stick with this eye because since I've got my liner done, I don't have to redo the liner for time's sake here. So we're going to make this now into a hooded lid makeup. So hooded lids, now Charlotte Rampling's hooded lid was very, very like almost over her eye. I would say if you want to put some makeup on, you can. What she does, you don't necessarily need to. What she does, I'm sure, even though you can't see it, is do a really heavy top line. In fact, let's go look at her. So she does a really heavy top line and then sort of a pinky color underneath, or it might even be like a warm tone. I actually think it's kind of a similar color to her hair, just to pop her eyes and make them look more blue because warm tones bring out blue. But look how beautiful that is. And then just a lovely neutral lipstick. This looks like more of a candid shot to me, but But anyway, you get the idea. My thought is she definitely has like a liner on the very top there. So mostly for hooded lids, the top line is super important, but I think the difference is you want to focus the attention on the hooded more so where that starts to droop. So if you droop from start to finish, then you can actually take that line and pull it all the way up, almost like a smoky eye. So I'm going to do sort of a demo here of how to make this into maybe more of a smoky hooded lid type of a look. It's not as hard as it sounds. Um, all right, let me get appropriate color. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find one that's going to stand out but still look pretty. Let's just do the green. We'll do like a sage color. So here I've got a color here. Green on green eyes is not always great. Blue on blue eyes is always great. I love blue on blue eyes. Okay, so I'm just going to add that to my 217 brush, which I used earlier, and I'm going to make this into more of a hooded kind of a what do you call it? A little bit smoky hooded type eyelid. All right, so we're going to start again. I'm going to balance my wrist, so you can see here. Here we go. On the lower eye, I'm just going to start working with this. So I think the secret with makeup is to go at it slowly and just work with the color. This is why I think sometimes it's good, if you can, to buy decent quality products because they're just going to blend more easily. Now, some pigments blend better than others. Green is a pretty good pigment, blends pretty well. Blue, black, sometimes just the pigment itself is just not a good blending pigment. So it really depends on the product that you're using. Because I'm professional, I do have to spend some money on makeup. But having said that, sometimes drugstore is fine. I don't think all drugstore is bad. So I'm just working that in. And what I want to do is make that outer edge, and I'm going to make this more extreme just so you can see the difference here, the outer edge to be stronger. Wherever that droop is, and for most of us, it's on that outer edge. That's what starts to kind of go. So we're just going to work that in. And then you can do that circular motion to just bring it across. Now, how heavy you make that depends on your face. It depends on your skill set, can you work with it? So with this color, obviously, I'm really working with that and just continue to work with it. Now, you can go really soft and layer. So I have a warm tone underneath. I think if you're going to do like a dark color like this isn't reading right up in that corner. If you're going to do a dark color like this, it's good to do a base color to layer. Layering for all eye makeup is very, very good. There you go. Now you really get the idea. Now, I don't have hooded lids, so this is going to look a little strong on me, but I'm giving you the technique. So again, I just sort of work that in. And if you have like a Charlotte Rampling where it's, it goes all the way across, then continue to work that over your lid. Because really the only part that needs to be a little bit lighter is just that inner corner when you have hooded lids. I want to show you another technique on the other eye, but that's the basic idea. Now I can work with this and work with this. I can take a blender brush. Looks like I have tons on here, and just kind of soften that down. But you're putting it on that outer edge. I want to show you a different technique. That just occurred to me that this is going to be really helpful. All right, so this is actually, come on, turn. This is called Taylor Gray. So this is a cream, but I want to show you how to put it on the other eye here as a wash. This is a great trick for hooded lids that is less labor intensive than this is. We're going to do this eye. Oops, I got to look in the mirror and do this eye. Okay, so this is a cream, and if you have a hooded lid, this is great. Just start right next to the lash, use circular motions, pull it all the way up. So this is a little bit of a gray, which is great for almost everybody. Okay, I've made it, again, I'm making these more garish so you can really see. But see, that's just all over my lid, and automatically, it gives it a really nice lift. And then you just kinda I took it off the brush, so I cleaned my brush off a little bit, and then I softened down these edges because I don't want edges. And it's a cream, so it's really easy to sort of blend it in. But that's really good for hooded lids because you're darkening up that whole lid area. Whoops, I'm getting goopy too as I go along. But see how much that it's just a nice all over, and if you have a little bit of a hooded lid, it's automatically gonna add some depth because hooded lids need depth. They need to go inward as opposed to this one, which is you kinda wanna make it pop out. This one, you actually wanna make things retract a little bit. And then if you want to, you can do, a liner on this one. This is a black navy. I just wanna kinda show you how to do this liner or a blue. Maybe we should do a black navy. Oh, here we go. This is like a charcoal. Alright, so I'm gonna do oops, what am I doing? I'm doing this one. So again, this is hooded lids. I'm gonna do dark color right here. It's like a charcoal. And then we're gonna blend that in. Same idea. So this is a lot more simple than trying to do, this one. Sorry, this one is this one, where you just do a liner and an all over color. And then if you've got like a really heavy lid coming across here, you can darken up that outer edge if you'd like with a different color. So like a blue or a blue gray or something like that. But the idea is, let's see, where's my blue? I have way too much makeup. Okay, so I'll just add a little bit of a blue. So we're gonna do like, oops, this way. This one right here. And I'm just gonna put that on the outer edge. Right there. So if you have gray hair, this is a great strategy. I know that this is fairly involved. Some of you are like, "Oh my god, that's way too much work." The truth is, once you get good at it though, it's actually not that hard. It just takes a little bit of time. And you can see I kinda tap it in, like it's all in the technique, right? Just tap it in and get that outer edge. So and again, you don't want that wing, you wanna keep this area pretty clean so that it doesn't look too heavy. So, see how I did that? So that really helps to lift up, and the darker this outer corner, the more it's gonna actually pop that out. If you have very hooded lids, like a Charlotte Rampling, you could use black. Softly blend it in. It's great. Maybe some false lashes, and that will really pop that up. That's for those of you who are false lash people. Um, some of you are like, "Yeah, I would never do that." So so that's the idea. Okay, now my eyes look really crazy, but you get the idea. And I do think with the hooded lid, it's just all about making wherever the overhang is, making that darker, but softly blending it so that it comes out. It pops out a little bit up, excuse me, not out, but up a little bit more. Also with hooded lids, you can easily do like something underneath your eye. So I'm gonna just add the gray, same gray that I did in the outer edge. Many women with hooded lids really benefit from a line underneath. I would do eyeshadow. This is eyeshadow and a thin brush because a pencil or a liquid is just too heavy. I had a woman come in, I did her makeup, but she walked in with black liquid eyeliner all the way on top, all the way underneath. It was way too heavy. She was probably in her late 60s. It really, really doesn't work. I took it off and I did something much softer on her. And I think at first she was a bit taken aback because she was very used to that very, very, very very heavy look to it. It just doesn't work. It's way too heavy for her. So we did a really pretty soft, and stay tuned for that. I'll post that on my YouTube channel. So, but I think this is nice. It's a little bit heavy now that I'm looking in this mirror. Things read very differently on the camera than they do, here. I always have to pay attention. So, I don't have very hooded lids, so obviously it's probably looking too heavy on me, but you get the idea, right? Of a heavier underline. And really the important thing is to really make that top line the heaviest and the darkest. Okay, did I hit it? Did I get everything I wanted to get? We're at 45 minutes now. Let's see. Okay, I was gonna do a very quickie on liquid liner. If you like liquid liners and you'd like to do a liquid or a gel on top, that's totally on you. I don't do that a ton on me. The good thing about using a liquid, so this is a gel, and you need a separate brush for that. This is my little handy dandy brush. For gels, you basically, or liquid, you really want to apply it just in that outer edge. Again, it's kind of like a pencil. You just go at it slowly. And this can really this can really make your eye liner look more dense and thick. And I can promise you they use this on Judi Dench, like a liquid like that. And then they take an eyeshadow and put a shadow on top, exactly like how I did as well. And so with Judi, they do the liquid like I just did. Was it this eye? Yeah. And then they take eyeshadow, whatever color you want, and you just put it on top. And what that does, it just softens down that line. That's one of the best tricks that you can do with this. So, okay, cool. All right, I think we've covered it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Please write down below if you have any questions or thoughts. Thank you for all the remote, for people who watch the playback. I really appreciate you joining. Sign up for my newsletter so that you can get the links for what products I used. I look really crazy right now. All right, have a great day. Mwah. Bye, Shamanettes.